Hi, I'm Laura Caulfield, and this is Dialogue. Today, I am so thrilled to be talking to Director Jen McGowan. Jen studied directing at USC and acting at NYU Tisch School of the Arts. Early in her career, she worked her way up the ladder at numerous film companies, and she worked on many features, including Oscar-winning Boys Don't Cry. She made her directorial debut on Kelly and Cal, starring Juliette Lewis, which premiered at South by Southwest.
How was your day, Mommy?
Good. I met a neighbor.
You have great dressing.
Excuse me?
Just a little junior in there should be more grateful.
Get away from my house. I shouldn't have snapped at him.
So he gets a free pass because he's in a wheelchair?
No, but he's kind of the first real person I've met since we moved here.
I accept your apology, and in return, I apologize if I admired your breasts inappropriately.
Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So how did you find the screenplay for Kelly and Cal? How did you get interested in that project?
I found the screenplay through a program at USC called USC First Team. This is where they were trying to foster independent feature film projects amongst the alumni. And they put a call out to the alumni for 30 directors, 30 writers, and 30 producers.
Oh, wow.
I applied as a director. I got in. And there I met the writer, Amy Lo Starbin, who had, I think, the first act of the script written. And I was like, let's work on this. So we committed to get that script in shape. And once we did, I took it out looking for producers.
It is really such a heartwarming film. I mean, I saw it at a premiere, and I literally was sobbing. I had snot coming out of my nose. I was crying so hard. I was so embarrassed. Because the story was
and that is where I met you, I believe.
It is where we met. The story was so real. It was such, depth of character, and it was brilliant. And how did you pull that performance out of, I mean, obviously a brilliant actor, in
cast well.
Yeah.
I mean, the story, I was drawn to the script for the same reasons as you. I thought it was really authentic, a unique perspective, something I hadn't seen before. I thought it was something that I could direct well. And Juliette was the person that we had in mind while we were developing the script. So we were very lucky to get her.
Oh, hey.
Hop in.
Okay. You can't just define yourself by the things you've lost.
Hey, give me something else.
And the supporting cast I love as well, of course, because I cast them. Everybody from Sybil Shepherd and Margaret Collin, Josh Hopkins, and of course, Juliette's colleague, Johnny Weston, who
was brilliant.
I love and he's the sweetest guy. And Juliette was so giving because once she was cast, and I had narrowed down my picks for who was going to play Cal, she did a chemistry read with him, and we knew
their
instantly.
chemistry was off the charts.
Yeah.
I mean, with a screenplay with this kind of subject matter about a woman who suffers postpartum depression and becomes friends with a teenage neighbor, and they bond over their tragic situations. That must have been really difficult to raise financing. Talk to me about that process.
I am a very lucky filmmaker in that I have never had to participate in raising financing. The producers, Adiaz Roney and Mandy Tagger from Spring Pictures, did all of the finance raising.
Oh, that's really interesting because I think that you have such a knack for finding female-driven pieces. Your second film, Rust Creek, also a story with a female protagonist. Talk to me about how you found that one.
So this is a totally different kind of project. This was a director for hire project. I went in and met with the producer because I was trying to raise finance for another project I was trying to put together. And I had been introduced to this producer as someone who invests in films. And I met with him, I pitched my project to him. It wasn't right for him and what he was looking for, but we really connected. And he had this film, Rust Creek, that he was looking for a director for.
Wow.
And it turned out that, we had just had this great meeting and he had heard my name. My name had been recommended to him a couple of times. So he was like, do you want to read it? Would you like to pitch? And I did. And then I think 2 months later we were shooting.
Wow, that is fast.
I like to go fast.
I mean, that's a big difference between independent films and studio films where the bureaucracy is not there and you guys are ready to giddy up and go.
When you're ready, you can just go.
Yeah. So on Rust Creek, tell me what the process was like filming out there in the wilderness.
Yes. So we filmed in Kentucky in the dead of winter, which was very problematic because it was cold. We were in water. There were some days where it was so cold that our tape, not like videotape, like regular glue tape, didn't work. Our batteries didn't work. We had to stick these like little shoe heater things on all of our gear so that it kept working. But there was great things too, like you can see the actor's breath in the movie. And that's something that really bugs me when I see movies that are supposed to be in winter, but you don't see anybody's breath. So there were definitely challenges, but it was beautiful. And there's something really special that happens when you get a film crew in a unique place somewhere and everybody's just stuck with one another.
Right.
So I think when you see the film, it feels like Kentucky.
Do you find or have you found that you've run up against any obstacles as being a female director?
I probably, I don't know. I mean, there have certainly been weirdo things that have happened and meetings where people say crappy things. But in terms of the work that I've done, I've been really lucky to find work that I believe in, that I can get excited about, that is pretty feminist, which is important to me, and have been working with people that support that vision.
So you founded Film Powered.
I did.
Which is a group that really advocates for women in all ranks of Hollywood.
Yes.
So talk to us about what inspired you to start that.
So when I was working my way up, paying my bills, building my career as a director, I worked in commercial production. I worked as a UPM. And that's the job that is in charge of all the budget, hires everyone, moves everything from place to place. All the people and all the things have to go to the one place at the same time. That's kind of my job. And as I was moving into directing and learning about the disparities in numbers for women in film, I looked back on my commercial life and I realized in 20 years, I had only ever 3 times worked with a woman director. 2 of those were one-offs. They never worked again. And
Wow.
The other was like one of the biggest female one of the biggest commercial directors, period. I had never worked with a female DP, first AD, sound mixer, only ever one woman in grip or electric. And I was like, wow, this is something that I know how to address because I know how people hire. I know how I hired. I know how all of my heads of departments hired. I think I can try and fix this. And so that's what Film Powered is about. It's about getting people connected with the right, high quality, highly skilled, experienced women that they don't happen to know right now.
Well, on that note, so all of the projects that you've done have a very female-centric storyline.
Mm-hmm.
What is next for you?
Well,
Aside from the project that we're doing together.
should I not mention that?
No,
or
you
should I?
can.
So, obviously, as you know,
Yes.
we have a project together,
Yeah.
which is a beautiful story about, I like to say I'm a reluctant feminist, a woman who starts her journey not realizing that the obstacles that she has to overcome will turn her into a great advocate for women.
Right, right.
So I'm excited about that. And I have a TV series called Angelica, which is about a small Midwest American town that becomes the only town in the state to have an abortion clinic left in the state. And it's about all of the outside forces and agendas that come to this small town and how it affects the community of women who live there.
And it's really relevant right now, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. I wasn't hoping it was going to be quite so relevant.
Right.
It seems to be getting more and more relevant by the day.
Right.